Chairman, this was not a pending bill. This is a new bill. Senate Bill 18 is our graduate medical education bill. You all know that we do have some serious concerns that need to be addressed. Senate Bill 18 is, the goal is to ensure that there is a residency slot available for every Texas medical school graduate. We would like to also, this bill aims a 1:1 ratio of residency slots to medical school graduates so that we can continue to attract residents from other states. Let's reverse course. Specifically, the bill expands on the planning grants created last session to add a partnership component. Entities such as rural community clinics that have never had residency programs before can partner with new schools and hospitals to navigate the accreditation process to create new programs. It streamlines the residency expansion programs we created last session, putting an emphasis on our most critical shortages, both geographic and specialty. Within the next few years, there will be several new medical schools opening in this state. Our GME programs must grow to accommodate these new graduates, or we're going to risk losing our next generation of physicians to other states. Therefore, Senate Bill 18 also establishes a long-term funding source by creating a permanent endowment of $300 million to be used for graduate medical education starting in 2018. The endowment will be funded through the dissolution of the Texas Medical Liability Joint Underwriting Association. I do have, and I'll explain that in more detail in a minute, but Mr. Chairman, I do have a committee substitute.
Senator Nelson sends up a committee substitute.
Thank you. The committee substitute to Senate Bill 18 provides additional guidance to ensure that we're allocating new residency slots in alignment with our overall healthcare needs. And that's what it does. Mr. Chairman and members, I would like to, I know you all read all of those gear reports in detail, but there were 2 gear recommendations that addressed the Texas Medical Liability Joint Underwriting Association. I think that both of these recommendations were worthy, and we incorporated some of that into this bill. And I know there are resource witnesses here to answer questions about that, but I so believe that we have to do something to create new GME slots in the state now to be prepared for what's coming.
Is there objection to the adoption of the committee substitute? The chair is none. It's ordered.
Thank you.
I think at this time, any questions, members? If not, we'll open public testimony regarding Senate Bill 18.
And Mr. Chairman, I have resource witnesses here from higher ed, from LBB, who are specific to some of the areas in this bill. I didn't ask them to testify, I've just got them there for resource.
Okay, we have Maureen Milligan. Ms. Milligan. We have Blair Cushing. Ms. Cushing. Just identify yourself and who you represent, and then you may proceed. You have about 3 minutes.
Good morning, Senators. My name is Blair Cushing. I'm currently a 4th-year medical student at the University of North Texas Health Science Center in Fort Worth. I'm here today speaking in favor of this bill on behalf of the Texas Academy of Family Physicians and the Texas Osteopathic Medical Association. First of all, I just want to express my strong appreciation for the senators who have authored this bill. Senator Nelson, Hinojosa, and Zeliger. This is a particularly important issue for our state. As was mentioned, we have new medical schools coming online, and we don't currently have enough graduate medical education positions in the state to accommodate them. You all may be aware that we're currently in the midst of match week. So for fourth-year medical students, what that means is that on Monday we found out whether or not we matched to a residency, and then at noon tomorrow we will find out where exactly that's going to be. But in the meantime, anyone who did not match is currently scrambling for a spot through a process that they refer to as a SOAP. Unfortunately, for the past couple of years, multiple students at my school have had to participate in that scramble process, in large part because they were looking to try and stay in a particular geographic area within Texas, usually because of family and financial reasons. So if someone had a spouse, if someone had children, they were somewhat limited in terms of where they could look for residency. And unfortunately, if there weren't enough positions, they may have found themselves without a match come this week. The average age of my entering class was 27 years old, which means that right now our average age is about 31 years old. So these are folks who have already established themselves even prior to medical school, and there's a lot of things that are contributing to their decisions. I've been somewhat involved, very involved, in advocacy around this issue for the past 4 years, and I even participate on a number of national committees that have been working towards increasing this issue, because it's not just a Texas problem, it is a nationwide problem. And it gives me such a thrill right now to be able to go back to those committees and say, you know what, Texas is doing something about it, that we have legislators who have finally listened. The past 4 years, as I've run around saying we need a champion on this issue, we finally have those champions willing to work with us and willing to ensure that our students, our best and brightest, have the opportunity to stay and train in Texas and hopefully to continue practicing in Texas. And furthermore, that this bill also doesn't just create new spots, but is really trying to target those critical shortage specialties to ensure that we're able to serve Texans in the areas and ways that is most needed. So, it's been a fantastic process for me to participate in. I'm currently on a health policy rotation, so I'm not skipping school to be here. But working with your all staff, I would say they need a raise. They've been absolutely fantastic to work with. It's been wonderful to see this process and the medical community coming together to create this committee substitute that you have before you. Because I think it really does address all of our concerns about how we can best train our students in the areas where they're needed. So thank you all very much, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions.
Senator Swarter, do you have Senator Watson?
No, I
actually had a question of the chair.
The chair, too.
But I'll wait.
Okay. And you're Ms. Milligan?
Yes, sir.
Just identify yourself, who you represent, then you may proceed.
Good morning. My name is Maureen Milligan. I'm the President and CEO of Teaching Hospitals of Texas. And thank you for your time. I know you want to move quickly, so I'll try to move very quickly and make just several points. First of all, I wish I had taken the line about your staff need more money because they did such a great job. Thank you for the process that you all identified and worked through for identifying how to move forward with graduate medical education. So thank you, Chair Nelson, and thank you, Senators Hinojosa and Seliger, and your staff as well. I really appreciate it. I just really want to make a few points. I think the points have been made about how important graduate medical education is and the need for residencies. So really appreciate the work on this bill, the simplification in terms of the grant programs makes a lot of sense. The creation of a fund that would allow for investment in graduate medical education beyond a 2-year term that can last for the life of a residency gives a lot of take up from current hospitals and other providers so they know that the funds will be available for the term of the residency. So really appreciate that. Appreciate the focus, again, on those two parts of planning for graduate medical education and then the actual positions. Just a couple things we look forward to continuing to work with you on. One is the funding for the existing positions that are out there now for residencies. And the average residency in Texas has unreimbursed direct costs to hospitals between $67,000 and $89,000 based on cost report data. So these are the costs to the hospital for the residents and the malpractice insurance. Medicare pays some, but those are largely reimbursed at the end of the day. So the unreimbursed cost to hospitals average $67,000 to $89,000 per resident. We understand that's not a part of this bill, which really is focusing on expansion. So we appreciate the consideration subsequently in finance about making sure those positions are maintained so you can actually increase above some baseline. So thank you for that. The other thing we would mention is, I know there's no great love of advisory committees. There is an existing advisory committee for graduate medical education at the Higher Education Coordinating Board. Because there's no one place that most people look to for graduate medical education expertise, we think that kind of bringing people together with that expertise is important. So we encourage use of that at the coordinating board, and also inclusion of hospitals. THOT does about 63% of all the hospital-based residencies. Our members do that in Texas. Based on our name, Teaching Hospitals of Texas, it's a big commitment to us. It's